What's up, you beautiful parents? Ryan here, Stronger Tomorrow Fitness. And if you were a parent who's put on some weight since having kids, you are very much in the norm. Okay, and so this video, we're going to talk about why parents gain weight after we have kids. And then I'll give you a few tips on how to lose that weight or how to, get past that. Okay, so we're going to jump right into it. Number one, most of the time, and this is me and my wife as well. Sometimes we have kids, we go into parenthood already with bad habits or a lack of understanding about, health, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. But mostly we come into it with bad habits. All right. We already have a kind of a poor diet, and maybe it's not that bad, but maybe it's not that great either. We come into it with a lack of exercise. Maybe we're not, we don't have that daily routine of going for the run or the workout or, doing that stuff to take care of our bodies. Sleep habits could be off, like all that kind of stuff. All right, so we come into it with these bad habits already, and then the kids come in, and then that just kind of throws everything through the ringer. All right, so I know for us, and we had like good intentions coming into it. We had planned on doing meal prep. We're gonna prep a month's worth of food. There we go. Tongue twister, not really tongue twister. But anyways, plan was to prep up a whole bunch of food. We were gonna come into this strong, and our daughter was born, 3.5 or 4 weeks early, and all that went out the window because I didn't even know how to work the friggin' baby seat, to be honest. I was like, on the car seat, the car seat. Yeah, the nurses were none too happy that I didn't know how to work that yet, but she came not out of nowhere, but came a little bit before we had time to prepare. All right, so, and I get it, life goes by fast, and maybe your kid comes on time, and you're just like, you have no food prepared, whatever, and we go into it, I will say we ate more frozen pizzas in that time than I think I have in my entire life, and I ate a lot in my 20s. So, anyways, bad habits, number one, probably number one reason why parents put on some weight. Starting with parenthood, there's other reasons later on down the road, but that stuff compounds over time, right? So routine is off. So maybe you even had some good eating habits, some, you're exercising, but now the baby comes and now your whole routine is flipped on its head. All right, sleep, who knows what sleep is anymore? That's out the window, unless you friggin' unicorn babies, and I don't hate you. I don't hold it against you for having babies that sleep through the night. But maybe I hate you a little bit because we did not have that experience. So anyways, sleep is off, eating off. Like I said, if you come into it with bad habits, but maybe you have good habits, and like I said, you're just, depending on how many kids you have, cooking the meals, making the, prepping for the week, that stuff just kind of gets thrown off because your routine is off. You're trying to juggle you're trying to juggle all these little humans. And same deal, your daily habits, whether you have a baby who is they're napping, they're sleeping, they're pooping, they're eating, they're barfing, they're all that kind of stuff. Or, later on the road, you have older kids, and your older kids have, they have sports, they have other after school activities, they have homework they need help with, they just have, there's other demands, people say, parenting doesn't get any easier, it just gets different, right? And so whether it's a baby or whether you have a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, or 10-year-old, or I don't know, routine, once they get older, yes, routines definitely, you can definitely start switching your routine. But again, if you don't have those habits, life is off a little bit. All right, and number three reason we don't make health a priority. So you've had kids, if it's not a priority for you, if you're not thinking of it as in the long term, if it's not important, you're not going to make the time for it. You're not going to, you're going to make the unhealthy choice over the healthy choice. You might try to exercise, but it's only going to last for a week. You're not going to be consistent with it. All right. And so as we get older, as these habits compound and we're eating less, whole foods, we're moving less than we used to, we're getting older, so our metabolism slowing down a little bit. And next thing you know, the weight starts piling on, you're moving slower. And then because of that, and I've been there before as well, you don't move the way you used to, you don't look the way you used to, you don't feel the way you used to, and then discouragement settles in. All right, you're not sleeping very good at night. Again, when I was talking to someone about this the other day, where I was at a birthday party for a friend, and we talked about the late nights, and how when we were younger, no problem, you could bounce right back and woo, good to go. You stay up to 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, no big deal. Now it's like, man, if I don't get to bed by 10, 11 o'clock, I am beat the next day. And that stuff piles up as we get older and as we have kids. And that's how it goes. So how do we avoid it is the next question. So maybe you're already there. Maybe you're like 10 years into having a kid. Maybe you came into parenthood, like I said, already overweight. And then all the, the bad habits, lifestyle choices, it's just compounding anyways. And so maybe you've never been in shape, and that's okay too. Just because you were never there or you haven't been there in years doesn't mean you can't get there, and doesn't mean it's hopeless. Okay. So number one, as a parent, remember back to when you had babies and they tried and they had to take little steps before they could take big steps. They had to crawl. They had to like roll before they could even push themselves up. And then they could be able to push themselves up before they could crawl. And then they had to crawl, pull themselves up. Then they're walking this odd step. Next thing you know, they're angry at you and running out of the backyard to the park and saying that they hate you. I don't know what I'm talking about though. So baby steps. Think of that. So your kids had baby steps, learning all that stuff for themselves. You have to take baby steps as well. Small changes of habits to start. I think this is one of the biggest fallacies of the fitness industry, especially when it comes to parents, because they have no idea the stress that you're going through. They don't have no idea what the schedule you have, the fact that you have this much time to work out and this much time to make meal prep. Like there's not a lot of time going on. So do it in small steps, small increments, because if you try jumping into the fire is going to burn you. Kind of like the frog in the pot, same deal. So find small things you can change in your life right now. Maybe it's going for a walk once a day for 15 minutes. Can you fit 15 minutes in? Yeah. Boom. Habit. You keep on doing that. Once it's a habit, then can we add that? Can we make it longer? Can we add something else in there? Same with your eating. Are you eating like 80% processed food like most of the people in North America? Maybe. Well, can you reduce that down to 50% processed food and have some more whole foods? Is there some food you can swap out? Again, baby steps, make that into a habit. Once that's easy, then you can keep, increasing the whole foods, decreasing the processed foods until the processed foods are down somewhere where it's not really affecting you as much, and the whole foods are making you feel stronger, lighter, more energetic, because turns out that's what food does for us, if it's the right food. Okay, and then also on top of that, the sleep habit. People don't talk about sleep enough. If you can actually start making time for your sleep, getting a good sleep in there, huge, especially when it comes to weight loss. If you're not sleeping enough, weight loss is going to be, even muscle gain. If you want to try gaining muscle, sleep also very important. The recovery that your body needs after working out is super important. And again, it can be really tricky depending on how old your kids are. Everyone's life is going to be a little bit different. So if I'm talking to a parent with a newborn, we don't focus on the sleep as much because you are in that little emotional terrorist's hands, right? And they're going to pretty much dictate your sleep schedule. But if you have older kids, then does it boil down to the fact that you're just sitting there on your phone for like an hour before bed, before you actually fall asleep? Maybe you put the phone down. I don't even take my phone into the room anymore. And not that I was ever on my phone at bedtime. It was just because I usually put on airplane mode and use it as an alarm clock. Once I realized that, hey, there's a clock in the room and I wake up on my own anyways, I just started leaving it downstairs. And I'm not going to lie, the mental, it just felt good not having it in the room. Even though when it was in the room, it was on airplane mode, I still feel, it feels amazing just not having it anywhere near me. So look at your sleep habits, look at your bedtime routine and see if you can change that at all as well. Number two, be proactive. Okay, be proactive with your daily routine. And a lot of times I find we're reactive. I've seen it in my own self at times where life is throwing everything at you, and all you can do is just dodge, duck, dip, dive, all that stuff. And if you can sit back, take charge of that routine, find the holes in it. Again, I mentioned earlier about like trying to fit in a 15-minute walk. All right, do I have 15 minutes for a workout? Do I have, is on Sunday or Saturday, is there time for me to do half an hour of meal prep? By the way, shoot me a message sometime. I will, or comment below. I can get you half an hour meal prep and you'll be set up for a week. So be proactive with that. Find time, find a way. All right. Again, this goes back to like number 3, where people are not making it a priority. You got to make it a priority. And if you want to make it a priority, if you want to make it easier to make it a priority, so my number 3 is like zoom out. And I don't mean zoom out on your schedule, zoom out on life. So right now you're here and, you know, it's 2024 as I film this, you know, say you're 30 years old. Zoom out so you can see till you're 80 years old. What does your life look like? You know, what do you actually want to see in that life? Do you want to see your kids grow up? Do you want to pass on healthy, awesome habits to your kids so they can pass that on to their kids down the road? Do you want to be there to watch your kids grow up? Do you want to be energetic with them as they grow up? What about your grandkids? Chances are your kids are going to have kids. You're going to be a grandparent one day. How are you going to, like right now, if you're over 30, if you're not lifting weights, your muscles are shrinking. Okay. There's a word called sarcopenia. I don't want to get into science right now, but it's a thing. Your muscles in your like early 30s start shrinking, start deteriorating if you're not actively eating to build muscle and doing resistance training to like make that muscle, to keep it, to grow it, all that kind of stuff. So think about yourself when you're 80 years old. Are you going to be strong enough when you're 80? So you might be maybe you'll be a grandparent before you're 80, hopefully. But are you going to be old enough to like hold your grandkids, to play with them? Yeah, what kind of life do you want? At the end of the day, what kind of life do you want? Some people probably don't care. Some people, I think, are happy just sitting in the lazy boy, eating their bag of chips and watching the football game on Sunday, or knitting and doing that kind of stuff and doing nothing. Cool. I have no judgment against anyone if they want to make their choices in life, as long as they're happy. But if you're not happy, fix it. All right. And think with the longevity, think about your quality of life at the end. Find that big picture and let's go with it, baby. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm Ryan. This is Stronger Tomorrow Fitness. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the share button, whatever. I have no idea what you like to do. Just there'll be another video coming out next week. All right. Talk to you then.